están mis güeros? Andamos en el Rialto Theater, el Teatro Rialto de aquí de Tucson, Arizona. Es el viernes 29 de marzo y es el día de la función, día de las luchas de Rockstar Wrestling Alliance, que es RWA de Tucson. Como pueden ver, ya está puesto el ring, ya está el sonido. Estarán luchadores de todo Arizona, algunos luchadores del norte de México. Está mi compadre Eri también ahí, luciendo su camiseta. Y pues ya está llegando la raza. Esperamos que se ponga bien. Es una función que se hace una vez al año por el promotor Christopher Hack. Y esperemos que esté muy bien. Vamos a estar tomando aspectos, entrevistando luchadores, aficionados. Y pues esperemos que la función se ponga perrona. Saludos. ¿Qué onda, mis güeros? ¿Cómo están? Aquí estoy con un invitado de lujo en una vuelta que me eché para Tucson, Arizona. Vine a un show que es uno de mis favoritos de lucha libre aquí en Estados Unidos, de la empresa Rockstar Wrestling Alliance o Alianza de Lucha Libre de Rockstar, ¿no? De estrella de rock. Tengo aquí a un personajazo muy conocido en la lucha libre, pues del circuito del sur de Estados Unidos, aquí en la frontera, el famosísimo y brillante luchador, el profeta de Arizona, The Arizona Prophet.
¿Qué onda?
Ahí está, pues. Oye, Prophet, I'm telling my friends here that I drove like six and a half hours to be able to see Dia de las Luchas.
Mm-hmm.
This is not the first time that I go to the Rialto Theater to see Dia de las Luchas.
Yeah.
For those people who don't know, Dia de las Luchas is an event, like it's been created by the Arizona Prophet, and I would like you to tell us about Rockstar Wrestling Alliance and Dia de las Luchas. But first, for those people who don't know the Arizona Prophet, could you tell us about the beginning of the Arizona Prophet, the creation of the character?
Yeah, so I'm the Prophet. I've been wrestling since 1999 was my debut. So almost 25 years I'll be coming up on my anniversary. And, you know, loved lucha libre. I trained in Mexico, wrestled in Mexico for the first 10 years of my career, and then started doing American shows. And but always loved creating new moves and being innovative and just learning everything about wrestling in general. So now at my age, I'm a ring builder. I make outfits. I make my own music. I promote wrestling. I book. So I do everything in the road of wrestling. And I think that's what a lot of wrestlers should try to do, because you're not going to wrestle forever.
Yep. So
you have to learn about other aspects of the business and how to make money otherwise, because getting paid $20 or $30 isn't going to sustain you for a whole career. So about 10 or 11 years into my career is when I started my own company in Tucson. You know, Tucson has always had kind of a bad reputation for wrestling, you know, backyard wrestling, deathmatch wrestling. So I just wanted to put on a good show with quality wrestling and the best wrestlers that I could get around. Who had skill. So I started Rockstar Wrestling Alliance in 2010, and from the beginning we always had a really decent crowd, you know, 100, 200, 300 people. For local wrestling, that's a lot, you know.
Yep.
Sometimes there's 10 people, 5 people, 30 people, so we always had good attendance, and we just kept building on that. And then in 2013 was kind of where Dia de las Luchas began. We did a New Year's Eve show at the Rialto Theater, and there was a local musician, Sergio Mendoza. He has an orchestra, they're very good.
Here in Tucson?
Yeah, okay. So it's a very good Latin-based mambo band. And so they were the featured act, and wrestling was the secondary act. So
Because that's a huge part of Dia de las Luchas, right? You have the lucha matches, and you always have
guest bands, right?
Music. So there's Rockstar and there's wrestling. So
Yep.
my two loves. I play music. I'm a drummer.
Yeah, you're a musician too, right?
So Rockstar Wrestling Alliance. We put them together. We have a spectacle. It's not just a wrestling show or a concert. It's a spectacle where everyone can come. If you've never been to a wrestling show, which I know a lot of my guests have never seen wrestling, so they see the marquee. There's wrestling, lucha libre. No,
Yep.
I want to check it out. Like,
Yep.
we're not even 1 hour from the border. Like, lucha libre is ingrained in our culture.
Yes.
You know, Mexican food, Mexican people, Mexican culture. So they say lucha libre. I've never seen lucha. So sometimes we get people straight from the street,
Yeah.
and they come in and they just see this.
You just walk by and see it.
Yeah. And then on the other hand, there are diehard fans that, hey, there's local wrestling in Tucson. Let's go check it out. They don't know about
Yeah.
it until they see it. So we have a great mix of our audience, and people just want to have a good time, get some beers, drink, dance, have fun, and see the lucha libre. But when it was started, it was very small scale. Like, you know, luckily we had nice venues, but not the production of the Rialto Theater. So you go in, it's dim lighted, you know, there's hundreds of people, and we have great production as far as lights and
Yep.
you know, fog machine smoke, and just the engineers that help put on the show. Like, this is an event, it's not just a wrestling show.
Yeah, and I'm sure that a big part of it is that those people that go there once, they come back because they like it, right? And they bring more people to see it.
Yeah, so recently, every time I'm putting on a show,
Yeah.
I get all these notifications. Oh, this person's following you. This person liked
Cool.
your page. This person shared a story, and they want to send you a message. So I'm immediately seeing these new followers, the people that have never seen it before. And it's like, while the show is happening, I'm like filming or directing, and I'm looking at my phone, and you know, I'm getting all these new followers immediately. So
Yeah, that's the way you realize it's working, right?
yes.
Yeah, you know what? I think it is interesting because you're offering not only lucha libre or wrestling, you're offering the rock music too, or the live music. I want to ask you, is this like exclusively lucha libre?
Not exclusively. We have some American wrestlers.
Yeah.
And, you know, most of the time they may be the bad guy because we're featuring lucha libre and they don't know how to wrestle that style.
Yeah.
And they're not as flashy. They don't have the crazy costumes.
Uh-huh.
Not costumes, outfits, sorry. This is my outfit, not my costume. But,
Uh-huh.
so we mix it together, and that kind of gives a different style of wrestling where it's not just lucha. They have to adapt
Yep.
to the American style, and the Americans have to adapt to their style, and it makes it more of a better challenge, you know, because they both have to figure out different ways to defeat their opponent.
Yep.
And you know, lucha is very flashy, American is very technical, so you get a good blend of styles, and that's what makes it different.
Yeah, it makes it more interesting, right? I would like to ask you, like, real quick about the Prophet gimmick. Do you think American fans see you as a luchador and not as a wrestler because you wear a mask?
I think they could see me as a luchador just because of the outfit, but when they see me wrestle, then they realize, oh, he is a luchador.
Yeah.
You know, I can do everything that only luchadors know how to do, and I can do things that American wrestling know. But I was originally taught lucha libre, and I feel like I have more tools in my toolbox when I wrestle a luchador.
Yeah.
When I wrestle American style, you know, because it's back and forth. Like this is lucha, this is American.
Yeah.
When I lock up American, I feel like I'm limited to what moves I can do.
Yeah. To the things you want to do, right?
But then I've learned, okay, it doesn't matter which side I'm locking up. I can translate those moves and incorporate them, whether I'm wrestling a luchador or an American wrestler. And that's where we come up with the terminology hybrid wrestler.
Yeah.
I'm a hybrid of both styles, and that's what makes me, you know, more of a danger if you don't know lucha libre.
Yeah, the style of lucha libre, right?
Yeah.
Also, why did you choose to wear a mask?
Originally, it wasn't my choice. I
Uh-huh.
was under 18.
Yeah.
I was learning how to wrestle, being trained, and part of our training was performing
Mm-hmm.
to get experience in front of a crowd.
Yeah.
And there was a group of us. There was 5 of us, and we were called the Juniors Division
Uh-huh.
because we were
That
all,
was in Mexico, right?
originally in Tucson.
Oh, okay.
So, but there was Mexican luchadors wrestling on those shows.
Yeah.
So, to hide how young we were,
Mhm.
we all had to wear masks.
Mm-hmm.
And we all basically went to a bin and picked
Pick up a
replica
mask.
masks.
Yeah.
And the one I happened to pick was
Yeah.
Abismo Negro.
Oh, okay, okay.
And I was like, I liked Abismo Negro,
Yeah.
and I liked his mask, so
Yeah.
I wore that for a while, but I was the prophet.
Mm-hmm.
But I knew I'm wearing somebody else's mask, so
Yeah,
I
uh-huh.
have to make my own design. So I took elements of his original mask, like this.
Yeah,
the
like
visor.
this, right?
How many other people have that? Abismo?
And that's it, I think, right?
One
And
or
the
two
prophet.
other, yeah. So I took
Yeah.
that and other elements like the points, and then I incorporated that with Jushin Thunder Liger.
Yeah.
And then
From
around that
Japanese
same
masked
time,
wrestlers, right?
there was Blitzkrieg in WCW.
Yeah.
He was one of the best high flyers ever. So
Yeah, kind of like Hayabusa masks too, right?
yeah, so while he was learning his gimmick, I was learning mine and
Yeah.
kind of taking from him. He didn't know who I was, but you know, I don't like to steal, but I like to incorporate and enhance. So
Yeah.
so I kind of became the culmination of all
It's
those
kind of
things.
like a tribute too, right?
Exactly.
So, could you tell me, do you have like a favorite luchador or wrestler?
Oh, sure. I mean, Rey Mysterio Jr. is my biggest influence.
Yeah.
Because I didn't know he could really do those things. I originally first saw Mysterio on the video game.
Yep.
You know, WCW versus NWO, and he's doing La Huracarana and the
Mhm.
head scissors and flipping, and I was like, it's a video game. Of course
Yeah.
he's doing that. That's cool. And then I just happened to catch WCW, you know, not too long after that, and I'm like, wait, that's Rey Mysterio, and he's doing those moves.
Yeah. It's
And
a real thing,
it's
right?
real.
Yeah.
It's not a video game.
Yeah.
So that just, to me, I was like, I wonder if I can do that.
Yeah. It's kind of like back in the day, people, a lot of people around the world, they thought Santo, el Enmascarado de Plata, they thought he was like Batman, or he was just like, he was created like a comic book character, and suddenly they realized that they could go to a lucha libre arena
Uh-huh.
and see Santo because he was an athlete,
He was a
right?
real person.
Yeah, so it was like kind of like part of the magic of lucha libre, right? I think that's kind of like what happened with the Rey Mysterio video games, and then seeing Rey Mysterio doing all of those things live.
Yeah.
It's kind of like the same thing, right?
For sure, because I always knew who El Santo was and Blue Demon
Yeah.
and Mil Mascaras, but Rey Mysterio was the new
Yeah.
version of that. And
Like our generation, right?
yeah, so like, especially when I was barely discovering Lucha Libre, I always saw wrestling growing up, but I was never an avid follower or watcher until the luchadors of WCW. So Eddie Guerrero, you know, Psicosis,
Yeah, like the
Juventud,
Juventud, right?
even Super
Super
Calor,
Calor.
Hector Garza Jr.
Yeah, when they were in like WCW and ECW, right?
Oh, and especially ECW.
They're like Halloween, Damian 666.
Mhm. Yeah, so all those guys are who inspired me to go the lucha route because it was more exciting and more athletic. And, you know, people will debate there's not a lot of psychology,
Yeah.
but that's why I said being a hybrid wrestler, you
Yeah.
can do the psychology with the lucha libre moves,
Mm-hmm.
and it takes it to the next level where it's like, wow, that's amazing.
Yeah, and I heard you have wrestled in Mexico, right?
Oh, yeah.
Any memories? What do you remember about your matches in Mexico?
Yeah, so like I said, we created the juniors division, and
Yeah.
there was no local wrestlers like Sol de Oriente and
Mm-hmm.
Yaco and the guys from Nogales. So then they started taking us to Nogales to wrestle.
Yeah.
So we're performing on their shows, but then we would actually start training with them every now and then. And then I remember I had a show in Yuma, and I met a fan down there, but he also knew Rey Mysterio personally, and he was impressed with my moves.
Yeah.
So he started bringing me down to Mexicali.
Mm-hmm.
And got me booked in Tijuana the first times, and I
Yeah.
actually got to meet Mysterio a few different times
Yeah.
at his house in San Diego.
I saw a couple photos of you and Mysterio, right?
Yeah, and then he would take us to Tijuana, and
Mm-hmm.
that was when he was in between WCW and WWE
Mm-hmm.
or F, because they had bought him out. So we wrestled on the same show in Tijuana, and I'm
Cool.
pretty sure it was 2000.
Cool.
And he drove us across the border in my mom's car. So we met up with him at his house, and hey, you know the way. You want to just drive us? And then as soon as we crossed the border, like slams on the gas, and it's just
Yeah.
And then like all of a sudden these cars in front of us stop, so he slams on the brakes,
Mm-hmm.
and we're like, oh, that was close, and then boom, and then we got hit from behind. So, so Mysterio wrecked my mom's car, but it wasn't a wreck.
That's a cool story, right?
There was only a little dent in the license plate.
Okay. You don't wrestle as much, right? I mean, you used to wrestle like very, very often, but not anymore. You told me that you're more focused on RWA, Rockstar Wrestling Alliance.
Yeah.
So, what's next for the Prophet? Not the promoter, not the booker, the wrestler.
I'm not sure. I mean, if anything, I'll have to do some rehabbing and some, exercise to get back in ring shape. Like I can wrestle you right now.
I mean, you're planning on wrestling a little bit longer, right?
I still want to wrestle, but
Yeah.
only if there's something exciting or different to do. Like, I'm not a big, rich, successful WWE wrestler, but
Yeah.
I've done so much in the business.
Yeah.
There's nothing else that really excites me. So if there's a new wrestler that oh, hey, I think I can have a good match with him, or we can try something different, then that's what sparks the interest. And that's most recently what I did. I had a feud with a wrestler, Red Miracle, and it was kind of to show respect too. So, but that ended, so I haven't had any more matches since then. But if something comes up that sparks my interest, I'll do it. But for now, it hurts.
Yeah,
And
I know.
have
It's
a lot
different
of-
because you're very close to your 25th anniversary, right?
25 years.
Yeah,
and
25 years of wrestling. Yeah.
there's a difference in
Injuries.
25 years
Yeah.
of mat wrestling
Yeah.
and 25 years of high flying.
Yeah, high flying. Yeah, it's a lot different.
So it takes a toll on your body. But my main issues are in my shoulders and, of course, my back. But yeah, so it'll take a little bit of rehabbing to get back into feeling good because it just takes a lot longer to recover.
Yeah, I mean, it's still cool to hear that you want to wrestle at least for a little longer, right? And what's next for RWA?
The same thing we've been doing, just trying to do as many shows at the Rialto as possible and other venues, and getting booked for special events, festivals. Coming up in May,
Mm-hmm.
the Mexican consulate in Tucson is hiring me to put on Lucha Libre
Yeah.
as part of a Mexican culture event.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll be doing, 3 or 4 matches as part of the event. It's an all-day thing, so I feel really proud when you're getting hired by Mexico.
Yeah, totally. They
to
recognize your
represent
career, right?
Lucha Libre.
Yes, yeah.
Look at me.
So that's the next thing we have coming up.
Mm-hmm.
I still need more details on the full event, but
Mm-hmm.
it's going to be a celebration of Mexican culture.
Cool. And just in case, I mean, if people want to know more about Rockstar Wrestling Alliance and the Prophet, your Facebook, Instagram.
Yeah, on Facebook you can follow me at AZ Prophet,
Yeah.
and then the Rockstar Wrestling Alliance has a Facebook page and an Instagram page, so you can follow us on there. And then we do have videos on YouTube. You can just type RWA, Lucha Libre Wrestling. But that's another thing I need to do. I need to start posting more footage from the shows
Okay.
because there's a lot of great action at our events. But I control every aspect of my company, so if I don't have the time to do it, it doesn't get done. So
Yeah, totally. Yeah. So, you're a wrestler, you're a booker, you're a mask maker, right? What we call mascarero.
okay.
And you build rings,
Yes.
right? So, if people want to hire you for any of those services, they can send a private message to your Facebook, Instagram, right?
Yeah, direct message to either the Rockstar Wrestling page, the AZ Profit page, and I also have a production page, which is called Profit Productions. Because pretty much everything I do follows under that umbrella, whether it's mask making or ring making, music, merchandise. I make custom T-shirts or booking. That's all things that the Profit does. So I'm producing. You can find me there, and I don't really make gear as much as I should. I'm focusing on rings right now. I sold 2 wrestling rings last year, and hopefully I can continue to build the best rings in the business, because you can elongate your career if you start in a ring like mine. Wrestling in Mexico, your career is not that long because they're boxing rings. They're hard, they're stiff.
They're different, right?
So, isn't there a concrete ring somewhere? Like, we train on the concrete with rugs, not padding,
cardboard.
So, you know, like the new rings, they still hurt, but
not as much.
Not as much. So, if you want the best rings in the business, you know, just hit me up. I'm not going to mention the competitor's name, but I'm trying to become the West Coast version of these other East Coast ring builders, because they're just as good or better.
Hell yeah. So, Prophet, anything else you would like to add or tell the people from Takul Wrestling?
Nothing. It's just lucha libre is life.
It is what it is.
So is Mexican culture and Mexican food.
Pues ahí está, mi gente. Tenemos al Profeta de Arizona, el Arizona Prophet. Ya saben, si quieren contratarlo para ya sea luchar o una función de lucha, también es constructor de rings, lo que llamamos mascareros en México. Mi amigo el Profeta, muchas gracias. Nos vemos. Y ya saben, lucha.
Bueno, ya se terminó el día de las luchas. Rockstar Wrestling Alliance, que es RWA, LWA, de Tucson, Arizona. Pues ya, fueron 6 matches, todo muy bien. El grupo que tocó se llama Los Torta.
Los Torta.
Ya están quitando rings, podemos ver a Chris Evans atrás, que dio una gran lucha. Y ya se vació muy alto. Entonces, gente, si tienen chance de venir a Tucson a ver los shows de RWA, Rockstar Wrestling Alliance, no lo piensen 2 veces, no se lo pierdan. Un luchón, saludos, sigamos fuertes, lucha.